دیزانمان لە سیستەمی ئینگلیزی بۆ ئەم جارش لەگەڵتان دەبم لە پێشکەشکردنی وانەکانمان لە بابەتی فیزیا لە بۆ سیستەمی ئینگلیزی. ئێمە لە وانەی ڕابردوو باسی chapter 1 rotational motion and the law of the gravity, and today we will talk about constant angular speed that has zero angular acceleration. دەمەوێت لێرە سەرەتا دووبارەی بابەتی پێشوو بکەمەوە. لە بابەتی پێشوو لە angular speed rotational motion, that motion of a body that spins about an axis like a ferry wheel, and earth that rotates around fixed about its an axis. And any point at distance r from the center of any body that rotates around its axis, it has a circular motion about the center. This very well, it has angular motion, but every point on this very well has circular motion except the point on the center. هەموو خاڵەکانی سەر ئەم فێری وەڵەتیان هەیە circular motion یان هەیە بە مەرجێ خاڵەکە لەکێ لە سنتەر نەبی. Any point at distance r from the center, هەر خاڵێک کە دوور بێ لە سنتەر has circular motion except on the center. And we talked about circular motion of a particle on a circular path. Circular motion needs a circular path in a constant radius and around a fixed axis. For example, Earth, it has circular motion around the sun. And we talked about angular displacement, delta theta, the angle through which a point, line, or a body is rotated a specified direction. Why specified direction? Because angular displacement is a vector quantity and about a specified axis. And angular displacement units in SI by rad. And delta theta angular displacement is equal to delta S over the radius. And we talked about angular speed, the rate at which a body rotates about an axis, usually expressed in rad per second, rad over second. And omega, the symbol of angular speed, we say omega delta theta over delta t. And we talked about angular acceleration is the time rate of changing on angular speed expressed in rad per second squared. And the alpha is equal to change in omega. It means omega final minus omega initial over delta t. That is. Now you know that angular acceleration is the time rate change in angular speed. And for constant angular speeds have zero angular acceleration. Everybody that have constant angular speed, it has zero angular acceleration. For average angular speed, we have this equation, delta theta over delta t, and for average angular speed, that is constant, and it has zero angular acceleration. Do you know we have two things in our books and our life that have constant angular speed and its angular acceleration is zero? Do you know what are things? Those things, Earth and clock. And Earth, it has two motion. One motion about its axis and another motion about the sun. For a motion about its axis, sometimes we call axial angular speed and its speed around its axis. Earth For rotating one revolution about its axis, during time is 1 day. It means 24 hours. Convert to second times by 3,600. And we say the angular speed is equal to delta theta over delta. You know that. Delta theta for one revolution, the during time is 24 hours times 3,600. And we can say omega is equal to 7.3 times 10 to the power negative 5 rad per second. This is constant and its angular acceleration is 0. This is axial angular speed for Earth along its axis. And Earth, it has another motion about the Sun. We called orbit angular speed. And sometimes we say the speed of Earth around what? Around the Sun. For one cycle, for one revolution, delta theta is equal to 2 pi rad. The during time is equal to 1 year or 365.25 days. Convert to second, it's time to 24 hours time 3,600 and is equal to 1.99 times 10 to the power negative 7 rad per second. And this is constant, again, like axial angular speed. Its angular acceleration is equal to 0. Why? Because it has what? Constant angular speed, and its angular acceleration is equal to 0. And for o'clock, we talked about the second hand. For one revolution, angular displacement is equal to negative 2 pi. Why negative? Why negative? Because its direction to the direction clockwise. And for second hand, during time is equal to 1 minute and 60 seconds. Angular speed for second hand is equal to negative this number rad per second, and this is constant. We have minute hand. For minute hand, again, for one revolution, the during time is equal to an hour. Convert to second, it's equal to 3,600 and it's equal to negative this number by rad per second. Again, this angular speed is constant. Angular acceleration is equal to 0. And the last one, hour hand. For hour hand, this is hour hand for one revolution. Its angular displacement is equal to, again, negative 2 pi. And the during time is equal to 12 hours. Convert to second, again, times by 3,600 by rad per second, as equal to negative this number by rad per second. All angular speed is constant, and its angular acceleration is equal to 0. یەکەم جار ئەتوو دەبی بزانی ئەوانەی کە کۆنستانتن ئەنگولەر ئەکسلرێشنەکەیان زیرۆیە ئەوەی کە هەیتمان لە بابەتی ئێمە دووشت بوو ئۆکلۆک ئەند ئێرث ئانەوان تازە هەمووی سەلمان ئەو ژمارانە دەتوانی لەبەری بکەی ئەگەر لەبیریشت کرد دەتوانی جارشکە بیسەلمێنیەوە. ئێستا review and ACES 1. Equation number 6. How long, it means find the time, does it take the second hand? The second hand. You know that the second hand omega is equal to negative 2 pi over 60 rad per second. ئەوە لێرە باسمان کرد گوتمان لە بۆ سێکەند هاند ئۆمێگایەکەمان لە بۆ یەک ریڤۆلوشن چەند 6 چرکە یاخود 1 منتی پێویستە بەڵام لە SI دەبی یەکەکەی بنووسین. of clock to move through 4 rad کاتێک angular displacement دەکەی دەڵێن negative 4 rad لەبەرەوەی تو دەزانی کە second hand directionەکەی بە directionی clockwise direction. Okay. Given and unknown, delta theta angular displacement is equal to negative 4 by rad, and find delta t. You know that omega 4 second hand is equal to negative. You can say 2 pi over 60 or negative 0.1047 rad per second. This is constant. لە پرسیار ئەوەت ناداتێت و خۆت دەیزانی دەبی خۆت ئەوە بزانی ئەگەر لەبیرت کرد دەی دەڵێ لە بۆ second hand 1 revolution by 60 second 2 pi over 60 second. You know that omega is equal to delta theta angular displacement over delta t, cross product. Delta t is equal to delta theta over omega is equal to negative 4 over negative 2 pi divided by 60 is equal to 32 seconds. And we have another equation, equation number 27. Find the average speed or angular speed of Earth about the Sun in radians per second. We have a note: Earth orbits the Sun once every 365.25 days. Find the average angular speed for the Earth around the Sun by rad per second. Rad per second. You know that delta theta for once it means 1 reef. That's equal to 2 pi rad. The time interval delta t is equal to 365.25 days convert to second. Is equal to 365.25 times what? Times 24 hour times 3,600 seconds. Okay. Let's to find the angular speed. Omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t. Theta is equal to 2 pi over what? Over 365.25 times 24 hour times 3,600 and is equal to 1.99 times 10 to the power negative 7 rad per second. ئەو پرسیاری چمان دیتەوە ئۆمێگای زەوی بە دەوری خۆردا ئەو ژمارەی کۆنستانتە دەتوانی لەبەری بکەی ئەگەریژنا دەتوانی دیسان ئەو شیکاری کە کردمان دووبارە شیکاری بکەیتەوە. زۆر باشە. پرسیارێکی وزاریمان هەیە فاینەڵ ئێگزام دەڵێ دلتا ثێتا is equal to 30 degrees. Find delta theta, delta t, sorry. Find time interval for this angular speed. You know that the angular speed for second hand of a clock is equal to negative 2 pi over what? Over 60 rad. 60 rad per second. لێرە دەتوانی ئەوەی بگۆڕی لە بۆچێ لە بۆ ڕاد بیکە SI unit دەشتوانی هەر بە دیگری شیکاری بکەین. ئێمە دێین بە هەردوو شێوە شیکاری دەکەین. دلتا ثێتا 30 degree times pi over 180 is equal to pi over 6 rad. And omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t. Omega average we have, and you know that, is equal to negative 2 pi over 60 is equal to delta theta negative what? Pi over 6, and find delta t. Negative cancelled, cross product 2 pi delta t is equal to what? Is equal to 60 times what? Times pi over 6. Pi cancel. 6 and 61, 10. 2 delta t is equal to 10, and delta t is equal to 5 seconds. And ودشتواني أتولي دلتا ثيتا هربا تحركي هربا 30 degree delta t is equal to negative 30 degrees because the direction of the second hand is the direction of the clockwise. And you know that for second hand omega average is equal to, for one cycle, 360 degrees over 60 degree per second. And you know that the angular speed, average angular speed, is equal to delta theta over delta t. Omega average, you know that, is equal to 360 degree over 60 is equal to, we have delta, this is negative because of the direction of the clockwise, and again this is negative, delta theta negative 30 over delta t, cross product again, negative and negative, cancel it, 360 degree delta t is equal to, this is degree again, 60 times 30 degree cancelled, delta t is equal to 60 times 30 over 360 is again equal to 5 seconds. ئارەزومەندانەیە دەتوانی یونتەکەت بگۆڕی لە بۆ ڕات دەتوانیت تەکەی هەر بە دگریدا بنێی بەڵام ئۆمێگا ئەڤرێج لە بۆ چێ لە بۆ second hand is equal to 360 degrees over 60 seconds. Okay, now we have section review 1-1. Equation number 1, convert the following angles in degree to radian. 35 and 128 A. 35 times degree to rad pi over what? Over 180 is equal to any number. B, we have 128 times again pi over 180 is equal to any number. Degree to radians times pi over 180 or 2 pi over 360, no difference between them. That is, and now we have the equation number 2. A mosquito lands on a phonograph records 5 centimeters from the center. 5 centimeters from the center. Do you know what? This is radius. Any point from any point, or we can say the distance between any point to the center, that is radius. If the record turns clockwise, delta theta angular displacement and arc length is negative, that the mosquito travels in an arc length of 5 centimeters. What is the mosquito angular displacement? Find the delta theta. Do you know what I told you that when delta S is equal to delta theta, delta S is equal to radius, delta theta is equal to 1 rad and 57.3 degrees and 0.16 revolution. Or you can solve. I told you this is radius because from the center, the distance between any point to the center, it means that radius. And the arc length, this is delta S, by clockwise direction, clockwise, delta S and delta theta are negative. You know that delta theta is equal to delta S over R, and R equal to what? It's equal to delta S over delta theta, and delta S, we have both delta theta and R. Delta S and R, and arc length is negative 5 centimeter, 10 to the power negative 2, and the radius 5 centimeter again, that one 10 to the power negative 2 is equal to negative, R usually positive is equal to negative 1 rad. باسی ئەومان کرد گوتمان ئەگەر arc length و radius یەکسان بوون ئەوە angular displacement دەکەی یەکسەر دەتوانی بڵێ یەکسانە بە 1 rad یەکسانە بە 57.3 پلە degree دەتوانی بڵێ 0.16 revolution. Equation number 2, we solve it, and now we have the equation number 3. A bicycle rides along circular track. If the bicycle travels around exactly half the track in 10 seconds. It means that half track delta theta 1.2 revolution equal to pi rad equal to 180 degree. Half the track in 10 seconds, delta t is equal to 10 seconds. What's his average angular speed? Find omega average. اسمعني ليرة half track. For half track 0.5 revolution, but for full cycle 1 revolution, and quarter cycle we have 1.4 or 0.25 revolution. Okay. ئێستا بین شکاری ئەو پرسیارەش بکەین، بەڵام پرسیارەکە لە باتی ئەنگولەر دیسپلیسمنتم بداتی چی گوتیتی exactly half the track، یعنی دلتا ثێتا ئەنگولەر دیسپلیسمنتەکەم 1.2 revolution pi rad and 180 degrees. You know that again omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t is equal to pi over 10 is equal to 0.314 rad per second. Okay, that's equation number 4, physics in action. Find the angular acceleration of a spinous amusement park. Reads that initially travels at 0.5 rad per second and accelerates to 0.6 rad per second during 0.5 second time interval. This is omega initial and this is omega final, and this is the time. Find what? Find angular acceleration. It means find alpha. You know that alpha is equal to what? Is equal to omega final negative omega initial over delta t is equal to omega final 0.6 negative 0.5 over what? Over the time 0.5 is equal to 0.1, 0.5 is equal to 0.2 because of alpha rad per second square. That is, we found the angular acceleration. After that, we have equation number 5. Again, physics in action. What is the instantaneous angular speed of spinning? What? Spinning, again, amusement park. It is that the accelerate from 0.5 rad per second at a constant angular acceleration of 0.2 rad per second square for 1 second. we have time angular acceleration. Find the instantaneous angular speed. It means find omega final, and we have omega initial. You know that alpha is equal to omega final negative omega initial over delta t, and omega final is equal to omega initial minus alpha delta t is equal to omega initial is 0.5 rad per second, negative alpha is 0.2 times delta t is 1, 0.2 times 1, 0.2. And 0.5 negative 0.5 minus 0.2 is equal to 0.3. Sorry, this is plus 0.7. This is plus, not negative. Equal to 0.7 watt rad per second because of angular speed. Okay, now we have again review on ACES 1. How many degrees equal pi radians? You know that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. And how many revolution equal to pi rad? Again, you know 1 revolution is equal to 2 pi, and pi is equal to 0.5 revolution. Delta theta pi rad is equal to 180 rad and 1.2 revolution. Distinguish between linear speed and angular speed. We have definition: speed or linear speed, the time rate of change of position expressed in meter per second. Angular speed, omega, the rate of which a body rotates about an axis, expressed by rad per second. When a wheel rotates about a fixed axis, do all points on the wheel have the same angular speed? Yes. All points on the rigid body must have the same angular speed and angular acceleration. We say yes in order that the shape of the wheel doesn't change and all points perform the same distance at the same time. So we say all points on the rigid body, when this body has angular motion, all points have the same angular speed and angular acceleration. A car on first wheel has an angular displacement of 0.34 rad. If the car moves through an arc length, this is delta S, what's the radius of the first wheel? This is angular displacement and this is arc length. We say delta theta is equal to delta S over R. Delta S is 12 and the radius, delta S, delta S 12 and find the radius. Find the radius. When delta theta is equal to delta S over radius, the radius is equal to delta S over delta theta. 12 over 0.34 is equal to any number by meter because of radius. When a wheel is rotated through an angle 35 degree, a point on this circumference travel through an arc length is 2.5 meter. We can say this is angular displacement number 1, and this is arc length number 1. When the wheels is rotated through angle of what? 35 again, delta theta, but by what? By rad. And 35 by, again, delta theta by revolution. The same point travel through arc length of, this is arc length number 2 and arc length number 3. Respectively, what is the radius of the wheel? You know that the radius is constant, and we have 3 angular displacement and 3 arc length. Delta S, delta S, delta S, number 1, 2, 3. Again, when 1, 2, 3. Delta theta number 1 is 35 degrees times pi over 180, and 35 rad and 35 rev times rev times 2 pi. We must convert all of them to rad because the units of angular displacement in SI unit by rad. Arc length 1 what is 2.5 meter, and arc length number 2 is 143 meter, and the last one 9 times 2 10 to the power 2 meter, and the radius is equal to what? Is equal to delta S over delta theta. For all of them is equal to 4.1 meter because the radius is constant and it doesn't change. We solve it. This is all of them for radius is equal to 4.1 meter for all of them. Okay. A drill starts at rest. Do you know what? Start at rest, it means that omega initial is 0. After 3.2, omega initial is 0. After 3.2 seconds, this is delta t time, a constant angular acceleration. The drill turns at a rate of 2,628 rad per second. Find the drill's angular acceleration. We have omega initial is 0. Omega initial is 0. Is equal to 0, and the time is equal to 3.2 seconds. And we have what? We have the final angular speed is equal to 2,628 rad per second. A, find what? Find angular acceleration. And B, find what? Determine the angle through which the drill rotates during this period. Find the angular displacement. Find delta theta. Okay. We have omega initial, delta t, omega final, and alpha. We don't have delta t. کەواتە لێرە دەکەم دێم هاوکێشێک بەکاردێنم کە دەلتاتی تێدا نەبی ئەو هاوکێشانەی کە لەوانەی ڕابردوو باسمان کرد. کام equation دەلتاتی تێدا نەبوو. equation number 2 omega final sorry ئەوە نیتمان لێرە ببورن ئەوە نیتمان لێرە چێە angular displacementەکە باز نەکرا لێرە. کەواتە هاوکێشێک بەکاردێنم ئیکوێشنێک بەکاردێنم کە دەلتا ثێتای تێدا نەبێت کە دەلتا ثێتای تێدا نەبێت. ئەوەش کامیانە؟ ئەوەشیان equation number 1 omega final is equal to omega initial plus alpha delta t. Or you can use alpha is equal to omega final negative omega initial over delta t is equal to omega final to 6 to 8 negative 0 over 3.2. It's equal to 821.2 rad per second squared because of alpha, angular acceleration. And find delta theta. Delta theta is equal to omega initial delta t plus 1 over 2 alpha delta t squared. This is 0 because of omega initial is 0. 0 times delta t is 0. Delta theta is equal to 1 over 2 times alpha. We found it 821.2 times 3.2 squared is equal to 4205 rad. Why rad? Because of angular displacement. Okay. A tube within an ocean goes into its spin cycle, starting from rest. Starting from rest, it means that, again, omega initial is equal to 0. Omega initial is equal to 0 again. Starting from rest, omega initial is 0. And reaching an angular speed, this is omega final, rad per second in delta t 8 seconds. At this point, the lid is opened. The tube slows to rest. Slows to rest, it means that omega initial 2 is equal to omega final 1. Through how many revolutions? Find angular displacement by rad? No, by revolution. While the machine is starting and stopping, find delta theta 1 and delta theta 2. Then find total angular displacement. Total angular displacement. We have starting and stopping. In the starting, omega initial is equal to 0, omega final is equal to 11 pi rad per second, and delta t is equal to 8 seconds. And for stopping, omega initial is equal to omega final 1. Omega final is 0 because the tube slows to rest. Omega final will be 0 and delta t 12 second. لێرە بزانە بەکارهێنانی یاسای omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t ئەوە غەڵەتە نابی ئەو هاوکێشێ بەکاربێ نابی ئەم ئیکوێشنە بەکاربێ ئەوە ئیلا لە بۆچێ لە بۆ average angular speed بەڵام لێرە ئۆمێگاکەم زیرۆیە چی لێ هاتیە increasing angular speed گۆڕایە constant نەبووە کەواتە acceleration هەبووە angular acceleration هەبووە کەواتە نابی ئەو یاسایە بەکاربێ وریابە کەواتە ئەی چی بکەین باشە drawing the sun motion with constant angular accelerations equations we use equation number 4 we don't have alpha angular acceleration نەداوە کراوە باز نەکراوە بۆ هیچ بەکاردێنین ئەوە بەکاردێنین ئەو یاسایی کە angular acceleration تێدا نییە ئەویش equation number 4 delta theta 1 for starting is equal to 1 over 2 omega initial plus omega final times delta t is equal to 1 over 2 1 over 2 what? Omega initial is 0 omega final 11 pi times delta t is 8 second 2 with 8 cancelled 4 times 11 we have what? We have 4 times 11 is equal to 44 pi by rad. This is for starting. And for stopping, again, delta theta 2 is equal to 1 over 2 omega initial plus omega final delta t is equal to, again, 1 over 2, or you can say 0.5, 0.5. Omega initial is the omega final for what? For starting is 11 pi plus omega final for stopping is 0. It will be stopping. Delta t is 12. 2 with 12 cancelled by 6. 6 times 11 is equal to 66 pi by rad. But it said that find the angular displacement by what? How many revolutions? You can say delta theta total is equal to delta theta 1 plus delta theta 2 is equal to what? 44 pi plus 66 pi is equal to 110 pi by rad, and we convert delta theta 110 pi times 1 over 2 pi. 1 over 2 pi is equal to 55 revolution. لەو پرسیارە داوایەتی کردبوو ئەوەی کردبوو حوزێکی جلشۆرمان هەیە سەرەتا دەست دەکات بە جوڵەکەی لە وەستانەوە at rest and پاش دەلتاتی 8 second دەبێتە چەند angular speedەکەی دەبێتە 11 pi rad per second دوای ئەوەی کارەبای لێ دەبڕێت سویچەکە دەکرێتەوە پلاکەکە دەردەهێنرێ پاشان حوزی جلشۆرەکە هەڵمان دەزانێت چی لێ دێ هێواش دەبتەوە تا چی لێ دێ تا دەوەستێتەوە دەڵێن ئۆمێگا ئینیشەڵی هێواش بوونەوەکە و وەستانەوەکەی یەکسانە بە ئۆمێگای فاینەڵی دەستکردن بە جوڵەکەی لە ماوەی 12 چرکەماندا دەکات دەوەستێتەوە دەڵێت چ بدۆزەوە angular displacement by revolutions لە چێ starting and stopping یعنی total ئێستا لەو پرسیارەبی گۆتایە how many revolutions with well, the machine is just starting, delta theta is equal to 22 revolution. Again, just starting. ئەدیگە بیگۆتایە how many revolutions while the machine is stopping بەس هێواش بوون دەڵتا ثێتاکەمان دەبۆ چەند 33 revolution ئاگادار بە لەو پرسیاری دەڵێت چ بدۆزەوە find the how many revolutions while the machine is just starting is 22 revolution or find how many revolutions in 8 seconds or during 8 seconds ئەگەر بیگۆتایە revolutionەکان بدۆزەوە لە ماوەی 8 چرکە یان while machine is starting again ئەتوستەکەی بەس دەلتا ثێتا یەک دەبینیەوە ئاگادار بە بەس ئەگەر برێ how many revolutions while the machine is stopping or how many revolutions while the machine how many revolutions during 12 seconds ئەو دوو قسەیە how many revolutions while the machine is stopping or during 12 seconds ئەوەستەکەی بەس دەلتا ثێتا دوو دەبینیەوە بەڵام لێرە دەڵێ چی how many revolutions while the machine is starting and stopping or during 20 seconds 20 seconds what does that mean it means that in 8 seconds and 12 seconds together دیسانسەکەی گشتەکەی دەبینیەوە کە بۆ شێوەی کە لێرە دیتمانەوە قوتابیانی بەڕێز لێرەوە کۆتایی دێنین بە ئەوانەی ئەو ڕۆژمان لە سیستەمی ئینگلیزی بابەتی فیزیا تا وانەی داهاتوو لەگەڵتان دەبین هیوادارم بینەرما بوو بن سوودێکمان گەیان دەبێت بە هەمووی ئێوەی بەڕێز هەر شاد و سەرفراز و سەرکەوتوو بن